Pauper is a format with multiple decks, but just one that uses gates efficiently. My latest brew, Celestia Gates, will aim to break that. It's a deck built around Tethmos High Priest, a creature that, whenever targeted with spells like Homestead Courage, can reanimate cheaper ones like Satyr Wayfinder, providing greater value and card advantage in the form of lands. Other important cards of the deck are Sacred Cat as a powerful attacker, Benevolent Bodyguard to protect creatures, Strands to safeguard our life total, and Basilisk Gate to win games. Without a doubt, it's an interesting deck to try, and if you don't want to miss other Pauper brews, remember to subscribe to the channel and give a like to the video. Without further ado, let's jump into the games. Alright, our first game is going to be against Black Aristocrat, a deck that relies on sacrificing creatures to make others bigger. With 2 Prowlers in hand and a Tethmos High Priest, I'm tempted to keep this hand, and for now, it's just a matter of me hitting the land drops and just doing the necessary blocks to keep alive. If we've managed to hit Prismatic Strands, pretty much this game is over because they are not going to be able to get through. Right now, I will bring back a creature and offer a trade, because it doesn't matter if they sacrifice everything and just kill our stuff, because we're gonna get them back with the help of Tethmos High Priest. Opponent managed to play a lot of creatures again, but we're also adding a lot of pressure to the field. And we also hit the Prismatic Strands, which make it possible that they are not going to be able to kill our stuff. And I made this attack just in order to keep the board small. I happened to top deck another Basilisk Gate, and now I have better attacks. I'm still trying to rebuild the game, just pumping 2 creatures and attacking with them, and making them trade inefficiently. Even if their stuff is like a 10-10 or an 11-11 at this point, they can't get through very easily. And it's just a matter of me keep finding other pump spells to keep getting back creatures from the graveyard to the battlefield. This was a bad attack because I could also just have made that thing unblockable and just don't worry about it later. With a journey to nowhere to get rid of the biggest threat, this game is over, so we proceed to game 2. In game 2 it's pretty much of the same, with the only change that we didn't bring anything from the sideboard. So right now it's just a matter of keep stalling the game, keep finding our land drops, keep playing small stuff, and I decided to pump the Satyr Wayfinder because that thing was the Serrated Scorpion that way. And it's just a matter for me of finding a Basilisk game, and this game is going to be a very much of a copy from the first one. Opponent keeps adding to the board, and I will just play the Tethmos High Priest and keep the ball rolling. Because right now, I don't need much to take over the game over just finding the Basilisk Gate. So with the help with the Prowlers and the Satyr Wayfinders, that thing is going to be in just a matter of time. For now, I keep growing my board, so to prevent them getting run over as well. And with Prismatic Strands in the graveyard, that's probably something very hard. I decided to attack like this because I want some of those creatures to hit the battlefield, so that way I can dig for a Basilisk Gate. And I happen to get one and get a lot of flyers out of the deal with that. I'm also happy to take another Basilisk Gate, so I will just pass my turn. They play Nerd, but that doesn't do much because I can just pump my flyers and the game will end very quickly, and they can't really attack. So I'll just pump my flyer, attack into the air, put them down to 4, and they conceded. Alright, for game number 2 is going to be against Affinity, one of the most popular decks on the format. So as previous game, I'm just trying to set up, and a 1/1 it's something that can deal against an infiltrator, and I don't mind trading it if they decide to block, but they didn't, and now I can just keep stalling the board until I find a Basilisk game like our previous games. They attack with that, so I will block like this, and even if they have removal, I have Prismatic Strands on the graveyard to protect the creature and make a clean trade. Now with the Tethmos High Priest, I can bring back the Benevolent Bodyguard, and that way they can kill any of our creatures. End of turn, I play the Thrill of the Hunt, returning a creature from the grave to the battlefield, and I'll replay it again on my main phase to keep the ball rolling. So, as you could have seen, the trend is just getting back the Sacred Wayfinders, the Prowler, and keep the ball rolling with the other graveyard spells. As a cyber plan, I just bring 4 Dust to Dust, and that should be more than enough to win this game very easily. Opponent started strong, but they don't have much going on, and since they only had 2 lands and I got rid of them and also their creature, this game is pretty much over and they conceded. Okay, last game is going to be against Mono Green Stompy, a deck that is very fast, and because of that I need to be very careful. Luckily for me, I have Prismatic Strands and a Sacred Cat that can put me back into the game at any point. They keep attacking with a lot of creatures, so it's kind of a race here, but Prismatic Strands is going to prevent them from killing me. They play a bigger threat, but it doesn't matter since now I can get back some life with the veterans and just stall the board again. They will keep adding more power to the board, but just an activation with the strands and the right blockers and I can start getting the feeling to my favor. In this point I could pump the cat and get back some life, but I decided that playing the second strand it was probably better. So I will just proceed and go and do that. And now in this turn I can pop my cat, attack for a bunch and put them down to 6. Opponent conceded because that was a very hard board to get rid of. As far as Cyber Plant goes, I just added a couple of standard bears and that should be more than enough to stop this deck. Because most of the way they pump creatures is just by targeting their own. From now I'll just keep developing my board and keeping alive the Tethmos High Priest is the way I can win this game. And they got rid of the standard bear, but it doesn't matter much because now with a couple of activations with the priest, I can get everything back from the graveyard. I decided to test my luck and take as a Wayfinder because if I hit another pump spell, I can bring back the standard bear as well. So I happened to do that and that worked perfectly. Now with the Basilisk Game in hand, it's just in a Prismatic Strands on the graveyard. It's just a matter of me pumping the creatures the right amount of the time and this should be game in a couple of seconds and they conceded. Now if you're new to Pauper and want to test other cool decks, click into that playlist. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next video.